Hey folks, it's Maxwell here and welcome to a brand new TW9 video. You join us today for our latest pay-per-view as AEW Grand Slam Australia. Really intrigued to see how this show goes down. A lot of it I'm happy with the booking. Some of it I feel, because so many people came back at the same point and try to get them in, was tricky. There was a few that have missed off the card or have maybe been squeezed in, and there's a few divisions that I'm still finding my feet with what to do, but overall I'm hoping it's a good show. We should gain pop from it. My only concern is probably with promos, but we are going to get to run the Dangerous Death match, so I'm happy with that. We didn't put it on India, the pay-per-view there. So yeah, this is going to be a quite interesting. I think as well it's going to start a lot of new stuff going forward, going into Revolution, and then into AEW Slobber Knocker, which will have a special tribute show. I think because we're not even 6 months into the save, and I think they need to work with you for 6 months, even though JR's contract would have been since the start, even the data suggests that. But I couldn't find the option for it, so we'll just pretend it's a tribute show. But hopefully, as I say, we're on the AEW Network, we should make good money from Cablevision. Sit back, relax, and enjoy AEW Grand Slam Australia, and then after it we'll look over like 3 or 4 wrestlers to see how their pop and their development has been. Let's do it. So the biggest, I wouldn't say stadium, I know it's the stadium show in real life, but the biggest arena I could have got was the Evan Theatre. So we'll get 9,536 fans. Whether we do this more often, we'll see how the popularity goes over the case of a year. But we opened up straight with Orange Cassidy and Swerve Strickland. Obviously this feud's been going for a little bit, and it was about that had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. I had Orange Cassidy defeat Swerve Strickland in 1645 with an orange punch. These two had great chemistry to get a pretty good chemistry that lifted the match, which is good to see. I felt like Swerve had the momentum in the storyline. He certainly had the advantage in it. I think he was fairly good and Orange was fairly poor. So I felt like this kind of balanced the odds up a little bit. The wrestling got a 79, the crowd was a 48, and the segment overall was an 80. So good stuff there, and good performance as well with Swerve's 86. Although sometimes I feel with simmering and obviously crowd rating, because I don't run crowd management, because I'd be here all day trying to manage that as well, and I like getting to the future in saves, that I'd maybe even disregard that. But we'll mention it anyway. I should mention this is mostly matches with like 5 segments, just the way pay-per-views are. But then again, that is a Tony Khan AEW pay-per-view. Next up, the TBS Championship was on the line, and it was about had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Athena defeated Deonna Purrazzo in 1340 with the O-Face, giving her 5th defence of the TBS Championship. Still too early to take the belt off Athena, but I felt like her and Deonna could have a very good match together. Athena still benefiting from being in amazing form, and it was a 71 performance versus a 62. So, I'll be honest, my booking of the trios division has been absolutely deplorable. It's been terrible. I don't know who I'm committing to trios, and I don't know who I'm committing to tag teams. I'm hoping that in the next couple of months that will, and save, not in real life, but in the next couple of months and save, I can start to work towards that, which will be mentioned later on, where we're going to help the trios division. So I put together some luchadors to take on the patriarchy, and I had a decent matchup. It didn't have a lot of heat, which is fair. And it saw the patriarchy, Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Killswitch defeat Hologram, Commander, and Vikingo in 10:31 when Christian pinned Commander with the Killswitch. I made it a storytelling matchup because I felt it would be quite weak. Third defence of the trios titles, and Killswitch was the weak link. But yeah, I've not handled this division well at all. Christian obviously still could be champion at one point. I still need to work an angle with that, but we've got all the way up until late August to deal with that. And yeah, as I say, Nick Wayne's had a few upset wins over people, but the plan is to keep him with the patriarchy at the moment. But yeah, I'm not happy with how I booked that division. I'll be very honest with that one. It's been very much on the back burner compared to the rest. I think it's because realistically, apart from an AEW, because obviously I've only really watched like mainstream wrestling, just with time constraints, I've never really seen a proper thriving trios division, if you get me. So hopefully it's something we can work on. I had a wee 2-minute video package for Eddie Kingston and Gabe Kidd. Gabe is in New Japan commitments, unfortunately, so it's just basically hyping up. They had a brawl and they'll basically face off the next time we get an opportunity to do so. So basically, the story I'm running is Gabe Kidd has prevented Eddie Kingston from appearing in this show. That was a 35. Next up, we had, I feel like these kind of shows, you need kind of special entrances, so I just done like a Mercedes Moné special entrance, working the crowd, and that was a 49. And her matchup was good. She defeats Io Shirai in 14-12 by pinfall, following Camille interference. This gives Mercedes Moné the fourth defence of the New Japan Strong Women's title. 76 for Io, only a 59 for Mercedes, and that's with good chemistry that lifted the match, so that's a bit disappointing. 67, 56, and 70. The interesting though is, my plan, my intention, everything was to put the title on Io, but Mercedes has creative control. So that is why I especially wanted the TBS Championship off her straight away. Fair enough if she's dealing with the Women's Championship, it's the top level, but as I say, the Strong are obviously below the IWGP Women's Championship as well, so yeah, not ideal. But I don't think it harms Io too much because, as I say, she's spectacular and probably, for where I'm placing these championships, she's probably above the New Japan Strong Women's title. We then had the fatal four-way match for the Tag Team Championships, and there is a lot to talk about here. I'll try and explain it as best as I can. So we had a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as the Kings of the Black Throne defeated Aussie Open, the Young Bucks, and the Hurt Syndicates Shelton Benjamin and Powerhouse Hobbs in 13:57 when Brody King pinned Kyle Fletcher with Dante's Inferno. The match was designed to steal the show. In the matchup, we basically saw a run-in on Kyle Fletcher from Donovan Dijak. So just to confirm, because I'll obviously end up explaining it, but just to make it a bit obvious, the newest member and the final member at this point of the Hurt Syndicate is going to be, so we've got Powerhouse Hobbs, we've got Shelton Benjamin, MVP, Bobby Lashley, and they'll be joined by Donovan Dijak. So going a little bit different. But also in this one, we've been putting up the whole issue where the Young Bucks have been on this great run of form, they've been winning a lot. But with Jack Perry accidentally, he tried to win the matchup for the Young Bucks, he's accidentally hit Matthew, and that's cost him the victory here. So a lot to take in, a lot of text there, but basically a case of Dijak to the Hurt Syndicate and Jack Perry accidentally costing the Young Bucks, but it gives the Kings of the Black Throne their 8th defence of the World Tag titles. The matchup itself was a 78 segment, which is good to see there. And if I just look over in-ring performances, you can definitely say the standouts there being Nicholas Jackson's 88 and Kyle Fletcher's 80. So, good stuff there. And we just had that little interview, basically just confirming that's the case. Bobby Lashley's obviously in action later on, so he's not here. But MVP just confirming Dijak, Powerhouse Hobbs, Shelton Benjamin says they were unlucky here, but that's your newest member of the Hurt Syndicate. Here to hurt people, that's strictly it. And Bobby Lashley's going to win that championship later on. So 45 for that. Renee was fantastic. Next up, a decent wild brawl. I had Mariah May defeat Jamie Hayter at 8:51 by pinfall, illegally using the ropes for leverage, giving her 7th defence of the Women's World title. 62, 40, 64. Honestly, I know Jamie's like far ahead of Mariah, but I just feel like it's still too early. Saying that she's been champion for a while, but I still feel it's too early. I've not really scratched the surface with Mariah May, and I just don't want to take the title off her as much as I know a Jamie Hayter title run would be spectacular, but she'll get there. There's going to be massive things in our women's division, and Jamie's certainly going to be at the forefront of that, as you'll see very shortly. Because now it's time to announce a lot of stuff. So there's 3 parts to this segment, there's a lot to take in. So first off, with the new authority figure, obviously the men's side, Scott D'Amore alongside Tony Schiavone. They introduced the women's authority figure, and that is going to be Jessie McKay. So, what I thought about my authority figures is, D'Amore's not particularly over, Jessie's not greatly over either, but she has very good charisma. I don't want to make everything too easy and just go with like former WWE people. I know she technically is, but like are really over, so it's an easy pop. I want to try and develop people's overness in different capacities, so I can try and develop her through promos. I want to develop her through just good matches. There's certainly all different attributes I want to try. There's like stuff where it's like I might just hire someone that's like terrible in ring and see if we get them over on like say stuff like sex appeal, just various different things just to see what is the best combination to get people over. So they introduce Jessie McKay. So she cuts a promo. She says it's nice that someone's finally accepted her CV, carrying on for that wee WWE storyline. But she says she is going to be the head of the women's division. People may have a prior opinion of her, but she's here to take this absolutely serious. She wants to be inspirational, and she wants to make this women's division iconic. She confirmed that we are going to see a major tournament within the women's division that will take place over the next couple of months. I can't remember what I named it because it's a big, massive name. We'll check it after the show because the titles are created for that. But basically, the plan is it's either going to be 32 women or 40 women. It's going to be a round robin in groups of 4 groups. So it's either going to be 4 groups of 8 or 4 groups of 10, depending on how many I've got signed, because I think we're at 28 just now. There's a lot of Stardom women that are signing handshake deals when their writtens are expiring, so we can bring some of them along as well. But yeah, just basically hoping to do that. So I'm going to give another, I wouldn't say spoiler, but it's stuff that is going to happen in the future. There's a plan for the women's tournament, and there's plans for a massive tag team tournament. I'm also hoping, it might be next week, it might be the week after in game, to get AEW Shockwave up and running, and that is strictly going to be for tournament matches. So it'll be like maybe 3 matches for the women's show, 2 tag team, just whatever can cover an hour. So it might even be less than that to cover the hour. But I'm going big on tournaments to just try and get people, because you have to remember as well, because a lot of this roster's young, I don't want to be just developing overness. We have to develop technical, we have to develop every technical aspect, whether it be, I'm too used to Football Manager when I talk about technical, obviously I mean any sort of skill set, whether it be physical I guess, or character building. So that's the plan there. And I figured if you're going to have Jessie McKay, you may as well have Tori Storm come out. She's obviously from New Zealand, and it just gives her a wee chance to, obviously because she's not got a match, and just says, it's a brilliant idea, put me in this tournament and I will win it all, that kind of thing. But Jessie will be a heel. But I do wanted to try that. I felt like it was a good opportunity for someone that definitely is retired, is still young, so she's like mid-30s. So plenty of time for her to develop, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, a lot to take in, I know. I have all these mental ideas I want to try, but that's the plan. So hopefully Shockwave soon, and we'll have that tournament and we'll confirm it at the end of the episode, because I done it last night. 45 for the segment. Next up, we had a technical masterclass that, I know this would pretty much be a wild brawl with how brutal it's been, but technical masterclass anyway. Good wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. The Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli, John Moxley and Pac defeated Wheeler Yuta, Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson. In 1919, when Claudio pinned Bryan with a neutralizer, following interference from Jay White. In terms of in-ring work, Bryan Danielson was head and shoulders above the rest. 69 wrestling, 51 crowd, 72 for the segment. Yeah, disappointed that no more of them were up there with Bryan. Obviously, into the mid to low 60s. Mox in the 60s pretty poor, although he'd been more of a brawler than technical. The booking of this one was tricky. As soon as I decided that Garcia was winning the TNT title back, I kind of had to go and put the BCC over here. I felt like you can't just have the baby faces winning all the time. And, just a small matter of, why has Jay White interfered? He's got a promo later on. He'll explain it. First off, he works the crowd. Obviously, it's like, why is Jay White here? Why is Jay White interfered? That's a 55 as the crowd pops, obviously being nearby from New Zealand. He does have a promo later on. We'll explain it then, I promise. The Fatal 4-Way for the International Championship had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Kinosuke Takeshita defeats Ricochet, Bobby Lashley and Will Ospreay. In 1928, when Takeshita pinned Ricochet with a javelin kick, Takeshita becomes the International Champion. I just wanted the title off Ospreay. I know obviously Magnus won it from CMLL, but obviously I want to control it as a wrestler within our company. And yeah, I know at time of recording Takeshita's champion, but I just want to move Ospreay to non-title things basically. But 71 for the wrestling, 49 for the crowd, 75 for the segment. Obviously, you really great stuff from Ospreay. Takeshita, Ricochet was okay. Bobby Lashley, obviously, he's not particularly over in this because of just the way the overness is. And obviously, his skill set maybe clashes a little bit with them. But overall, happy with it. Yeah, good stuff. Still light years away though from any sort of light blue red. And afterwards, 3-minute segment, just basically Takeshita being awarded the championship. Callis put it around his waist. as your new international champion. That's a 54. Next up, we had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd as Darby Allin defeated Hangman Adam Page in an exploding barbed wire deathmatch in 15:32 with a coffin drop. So good news as well for booking details. Referee was Mick Foley, so we had that factor in as well. But it was just really just to give them a proper blow-off match here. 78 for the wrestling, 48 for the crowd, 76 for the segment. Darby 72, Hangman 84, so he's been absolutely fantastic. And both guys took a crazy bump, hopefully no injuries. The storyline advances, but it probably will be the end of it. Penalised for their physical condition. Penalised for the low heat. Oh, nothing over enough, that's fair enough. But no, just quite cool to get the Exploding Deathmatch. I was trying to do it for ages, but yeah. Hangman's been putting himself through absolute mental stuff in this so far. Have a little segment just basically Hangman getting carried out after the defeat. So he's selling injury. I'll probably just give him a couple of weeks vacation. He's fine, his morale's fine, it's just so I don't end up booking him and give him a time to recover, effectively. I think we're ready for our main event shortly. Here we go. So Jay White, explains why there's gang wars here. No, sorry, he basically explains that there is gang wars happening, but there's none with the Bang Bang Gang. He says it's been cool seeing, the BCC fighting with this big, group that's going to take over, or are these guys Bryan Danielson's aligned with them to try and take on the BCC. But when people talk about stables, they don't talk about the Bang Bang Gang. And he says, where's the fun in that? It's time that Jay White, Juice Robinson, Colton Gunn and Austin Gunn get involved as well. So that was my thinking behind it. Just the fact that I never had Jay on the pay-per-view was a travesty for me to start with. But I thought, it's an opportunity to get Jay up in terms of overness. Juice is always going to be a very solid hand, and it's going to help with the development of Austin and Colton, especially if you're in the ring with Claudio, you're in the ring with Pac. And honestly, with the skill level he's got, if you're in there with Daniel Garcia, that's going to help them as well. So it's going to be a big faction wars. I have a lot of stables going on. There's more stables coming. But yeah, I have this problem as well where I have a lot of storylines that seem to be overlapping each other. Like Darby Allin still has an issue with the BCC. But obviously the stuff with Hangman, Eddie Kingston has an issue with the BCC. So it's warfare. And then hopefully if after Revolution everything can kind of reset and go again. Spectacular entrance for Kenny Omega. He's back. Unfortunately, it's only 67 though, so I felt like I needed a very good segment to kind of hope the main event delivers so we gain pop everywhere, because there's not really many promos in the show. I did have an angle idea that was due to expire shortly, so we utilised that here. Try and give it a little boost. It was a success, and it's a 67 overall. So here we go. Continental Championship main event, Kenny Omega's return matchup. Can he defeat Kazuchika Okada? And he certainly can, as in a superb wrestling match with a decent reaction from the crowd. Kenny Omega defeats Kazuchika Okada in 1855 with the one-winged angel. Kenny wins the AEW Continental Championship. So it was his first match in a while. So obviously we need to build up his popularity. He had chilly momentum, so hopefully that can help him. 82 for the wrestling, 51 crowd, 83 for the segment. Kenny with a 76, Okada with an 88. Both of them have great chemistry, so that boosted it. We probably were penalised for physical condition, and I imagine we'd be penalised for the low heat as well. That's fine. And Kenny's poor momentum. That's all stuff I was hoping to take a gamble on that we could gain with here. So overall, the show increased our popularity in 45 regions, because obviously we're on our network, so we're coverage everywhere bar the States, but obviously we have stuff in the States with Cablevision. I think you can easily see for that, when we really do try, we're absolutely fine for the match perspective. At this rate, where we need to go to in terms of popularity gains, we're fine with matches. Everything is going to rely on getting those promos up across the board. But yep, pretty happy with that one. As I say, we've got a few storylines we can carry on from here, and a few divisions we need to sort. I won't sit for too long because we have a lot of stuff still to do, and we'll just say to Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada, just go for the positive stuff here. Compliments, pleased and pleased. No injuries. Financial made 2.6 million, so that's good stuff there. Mostly on broadcast revenue, admittedly. And popularity, you can see that across the board, very good stuff. 68s and 69s in the US, so getting slowly but surely closer to big. Obviously, when we get to big, at least in America, we need to start then working on global expanding. But what I should like as well as that is that show was obviously in Australia, so we're going to be more over in the States as well, so we possibly could have been even higher elsewhere. You recently hired Sami Zayn. How do you see him fitting on the roster? Well done, you guys. You're giving away spoilers. Have high hopes for him. Oh, Big Bill's not happy. Ooh. Oh, a few people not happy. A lot of big names not happy. Okay. We saw Brody King have an off night tonight. This is inconsistently going to hold him back. I'm sure it was a one-off. You've recently made the signing of Zack Sabre Jr. God, these dirt sheets have all the ideas. I'll say he'll have to work his way up the ladder. Went down well with the locker room. Matthew Jackson was off his game. Sure it was a one-off. Kenny Omega won the Continental Crown or title at tonight's show. Should be expecting to have a long reign. He deserves the opportunity. Word is that Mansoor is very happy, extremely happy with life in AEW. Are you proud of your man and management skills? I work hard to create a great atmosphere. Oh dear. Dax is unhappy, Cash is unhappy, Miro's unhappy. Right, fair enough. It's one thing I found very, very tricky so far is managing morale. It's probably because there is like 9 million people in the roster, but we'll give Dax and Cash a bit more money and try and improve them. I haven't pushed them greatly, but that's where I was hoping the tournament would certainly come in and benefit us. So, really struck gold with the show, which is good to see. Obviously, that was Fantastic Mania, or Fantastica, whatever it's called. That's how we didn't have Gabe Kidd. I don't know if there's anything else there that directly affects us. Just Tony Nese renewing for Ring of Honor. Although he may pop up with Josh Woods for the tag team thing. So that's fine. That's just hologram. Mikey Nichols, RJ City. So the buy rate was 260,000 buys. Viewing figures was 2.2 million. All these stuffs I've already done over before. I've just not deleted them. Like so Dustin Rhodes saying that Hook is a star. So aye, that's fine. We don't need to worry about that too much. So I say size-wise, I'm pretty happy. Let's say a good way to go before we get there. 77 in 5 regions, so lots to do there. So the titles are the Super Shine Elite Grand Prix. As I say, it's going to be just the women's CC with like a lot more women getting opportunities. And for tag one, I went with the Briscoe Brothers Tag Team Cup. I was really struggling for a name. But I don't know when I'll start those tournaments, because obviously I need to make sure everything's fine bracket-wise and we've got the right people signed and we won't have any issues, hopefully. So we've got that to look forward to. Let's just have a look. Yeah, it's only morale issues, that's fine, it's not too bad. I'm always going to have people with morale issues. Kojima, I've still never had a chance to use yet, and we have a lot of creative ideas that, yeah, only very good. I've got 2 weeks to put a card together for Revolution, and we have 2 days until the next Dynamite. So the final thing I'm going to look at is basically how people have developed, or certain people. So the first one I've been keen to look at has been Daniel Garcia. If I can find Daniel Garcia. So he's considered a star by the fans. He's a TNT champion, very warm momentum. I want to first go to popularity. So you can see here, low 60s, mid 60 in the mid-south, high in the tri-state area. But if we go to track progress, considering he started at a 44 in October, I would be quite confident that he's developed quite well. Really, really happy with that actually. Obviously, I'm trying to find somewhere where it all fits in the one screen, because obviously I've got this capped. But I think that's a good position for him there. If I just go to his actual skill set, you can see you've got 1 in brawling, 2 in Purescu, 2 in hardcore. Technical's the same, 5 in aerial, 2 in flashiness. His psychology's up 3, which is going to be very good in the long term if we can get him into the 80s. 1 for experience, 1 for respect. His reputation's fine. Charisma, microphone are up 1, as is acting. Star quality's up 3. I think we told him to get bigger. Sex appeal stays the same. Menace is up by 1. And basics up 5. Selling is up 1. Consistency's up 7. And the safety's up 5. So obviously working with the workers he's been with has been really good. Even again, stamina up quite considerably. Power up by 4. Just really good improvements, and obviously he's not going to improve them there. Who have we had that's had a big push? Athena could be someone. So not really too much in terms of our skill sets, but that'll probably be an age thing, being 10 years older than Garcia. But if we go to the popularity tab, someone again that started at 44, you can see they're up to just under 60. And even in the case here, some of them have even gained to 60 with that victory that she just had. Let's do one or two more. Who should we do? Kenny's sitting at 65s, Takeshita 58. Trying to think who we've had like a very, very consistent push with. Nick Wayne, 35 to 44 because of the people he's defeated. Why don't we go with Ray Phoenix? He's not won a lot, but he's put on great matches. So even he's gained 3. We're not really doing much. So there's a lot of stuff that's still a work in progress. But yeah, certainly happy with that one. Scott D'Amore starts at 23, still is 23. Let's swerve actually. So I just started using them. Down, well, started at 59, was at 64, and now 62 after putting Orange Cassidy over. And Billy McKay, getting our WWE name mixed up. Jessie McKay, so we're going to get her at a 38 over. It's going to be up to us to see if we can try and get her a bit higher up to the 50s. As I say, if we just go to a skill set, 80 charisma, 74 microphone, 77 acting, and the 83 sex appeal. So hopefully she can be a good addition for us. But it's tricky. It's in the situation where I'm trying to balance, obviously getting people over, but I need to improve our skill sets because Bryan Danielson's 92 technical and 91 psychology isn't going to last forever. So that's one thing I certainly need to watch out for. But yeah, that's us. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, use a wee thumbs up. And yeah, let me know how your own saves are getting on. Of course, check out the Fancy Booker subreddit, the Grey Dog Software forums, twdb.com and bethebooker.net. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you next episode for some more Dynamite, Collision, etc. I don't think we'll start Shockwave after Revolution. And yeah, a couple of videos time. It's an our pay-per-view, so I'll see you then. Bye bye.